But meanwhile, Donald Trump has set up maybe. I mean, it's so hard to say because the guy is quite literally a serial liar. Yeah, I mean, you find him saying one thing one day and then another thing the other day, and sometimes even denying that he said the first thing. But he's been fairly consistent on this one. And that is about Social Security. Now, he called into a radio show in that's just across the border from Wisconsin and Illinois. From literally, I mean, this radio show throws a signal into Paul Ryan's hometown, Janesville, Wisconsin. And he said to the host, this is in Rockville, Illinois, he said to the host, well, Paul, who I like a lot, he called me last week. I think he's a really nice guy, but I disagree with him on this. And he's talking about Social Security. He says, Paul wants to knock down Social Security, knock it down, way down. And he wants to knock Medicare way down. And then Trump goes on to say, these are the kind of things that cause you to lose elections. And then he says this.
But more importantly, in a sense, I want to keep it. These people have been making their payments for their whole lives. I want to keep Social Security intact. Now, I want to get rid of waste, fraud, and abuse. I want to do a lot of things to it that are going to make it much better, actually. But I'm not going to cut it, and I'm not going to raise ages, and I'm not going to do all of the things that they want to do. But they want to really cut it, and they want to cut it very substantially, the Republicans. And I'm not going to do that.
They want to cut it very substantially, the Republicans, and I'm not going to do that. Now, here's a few other clips of Donald Trump on the campaign trail saying essentially the same thing. Danielle, we'll just go through these in order. This is clip number 1.
We've got nothing. We got Social Security that's going to be destroyed if somebody like me doesn't bring money into the country. All these other people want to cut the hell out of it. I'm not going to cut it at all. I'm going to bring money in, and we're going to save it.
Right. Okay, and here's another one.
Every Republican wants to do a big number on Social Security. They want to do it on Medicare. They want to do it on Medicaid. And we can't do that. And it's not fair to the people that have been paying in for years, and now all of a sudden they want to be cut.
I see. I have been saying for 2 years that Donald Trump won the Republican primary because he campaigned as a Democrat. I mean, arguably, what's the biggest and most successful program in the history of the Democratic Party? Social Security. Arguably, the second most successful is Medicare. Third is Medicaid. And he points out Paul Ryan and the Republicans, they want to destroy all three. This is a variation on Jude Wanniski's two Santa Claus theory that we've talked about a lot on this program. And Trump has been campaigning. Well, here's another clip. This is clip 3. There you go. And, with regard to waste, fraud, and abuse, I would point him to Rick Scott, the governor of Florida, whose company was convicted of the largest Medicare fraud in the history of the United States. But that's a whole other story. And then here's one more. This is Donald Trump. This is clip number 4.
The Democrats are doing nothing with Social Security. They're leaving it the way it is. In fact, they want to increase it. They want to actually give more. And what we're up against, and whether we like it or not, that is what we're up against. I will do everything within my power not to touch Social Security, to leave it the way it is, to make this country rich again, to bring back our jobs, to get rid of deficits, to get rid of waste, fraud, and abuse, which is rampant in this country, rampant, totally rampant. And it's my absolute intention to leave Social Security the way it is, not increase the age, and to leave it as is.
Now, that was from the Republican primary debate. And that, in my opinion, is one of the main reasons that a lot of people voted for Donald Trump. So now you got Paul Ryan and the Republicans literally, as we speak, actually, they've already done it. They've put together legislation that will cut Social Security In fact, I'll give you a quote. This is from Ian Millhiser. He's an attorney. He writes for Think Progress's blog, thinkprogress.org. You can read this over there. He writes, Republicans in the House hope to cut Social Security benefits by 20 to 50%. Speaker Paul Ryan's plan to voucherize Medicare would drive up out-of-pocket costs for seniors by about 40%. And then he'd cut Medicaid by between a third and a half. So where is this going? I mean, you know, nobody really knows right now. But I think it's really important that, you know, we have a serious conversation about holding Donald Trump's feet to the fire with regard to his campaign promises, which, by the way, Republicans as well as Democrats, you look at the surveys, you know, 70, 80, 90% of you, depending on how you phrase the question and you know, when in the electoral cycle you ask the question, but the vast majority, well over 3/4 of Republicans want Social Security strengthened, want Medicare strengthened. And frankly, particularly with regard to Medicare, we need to stop drilling all these holes in it so United Healthcare can make another $1 billion next week in profits. It's crazy. We'll be right back.